What if I told you there are Japanese doctors in their 90 seconds who are still in the operating room, still seeing patients and moving through life with the energy of someone half their age? These aren't ordinary physicians. They are walking, talking evidence of the eating patterns they have quietly followed for decades. Dr. Shigeki Hinahara lived to 105 and continued working almost until his final breath. Dr. Hikichi Miyazaki set records as the world's oldest competitive sprinter at 105. And they all share one surprising common thread. It is not superior genes. It is not a pricey supplement. It is a very specific way of eating that completely challenges what most of us have been told about growing old in a healthy way. When researchers at Tokyo Medical University examined 847 Japanese centenarians, they uncovered something that made them rethink nearly everything they believed about longevity. These people were not relying on exotic superfoods. They were not jumping from one trendy diet to the next. Instead, they were consistently doing something so simple that most people never even think about it. And here is the truly mind-blowing part. The number one secret these doctors uncovered has less to do with the actual foods on your plate and everything to do with what happens inside your body when you follow a particular eating pattern. Scientific studies suggest this approach can extend lifespan by as much as 40%. Yet, almost 95% of people unknowingly do the exact opposite every single day. Before we go any further, tell us your age and where you are watching from in the comments below. We are reading and responding to every single one. With that said, let us jump right in. Number 7. The temperature secret that changes everything. Japanese longevity doctors have been quietly noticing something remarkable for decades, and Western medicine is only beginning to recognize it. The temperature of what you eat and drink matters far more than most people realize. Dr. Makoto Suzuki, who spent over 40 years studying Okinawan centenarians, found that people who regularly choose warm foods and beverages throughout the day tend to have much better digestive health and lower markers of inflammation. Here is what is really going on inside your body. When you consume cold foods or drinks, your stomach has to use extra energy to warm everything up to body temperature. That process demands a lot of energy that could instead be directed towards cellular repair and immune function. In one study from Kyoto University, researchers followed 1,200 adults over a 15-year period. Those who drank warm water first thing in the morning and with their meals had 32% fewer digestive problems and 28% lower rates of chronic constipation. Imagine your stomach as a pot simmering on the stove. If you keep tossing in cold ingredients, the cooking slows down. Digestion works the same way. Cold foods and chilled drinks can slow the breakdown of nutrients, making it harder for your body to fully absorb what it needs. Traditional Japanese medicine has recognized this for centuries. The concept of harahachi banmei includes not only how much you eat, but also how you eat it. Choosing room temperature or warm foods helps maintain what they describe as your digestive fire. This is not a mystical idea. Modern research shows that digestive enzymes perform best at around body temperature. When you hit your system with ice-cold beverages during a meal, enzyme activity can fall by as much as 40%. The Japanese solution is wonderfully simple. Begin your day with warm water or tea. Not boiling hot, just comfortably warm. At meal times, they often sip warm miso soup or tea instead of iced water. Even during the summer months, they avoid extremely cold foods right before or during meals. That does not mean you must give up cold foods forever. What matters most is timing. Japanese doctors suggest waiting at least 30 minutes after eating before having anything chilled. This gives your stomach enough time to start the digestive process without being disrupted. If you want to get the most benefit from this approach, make warm water your go-to drink. Keep a thermos nearby and add a slice of lemon if you like a bit of flavor. Your digestive system will likely respond with less bloating and smoother energy levels in just a few days. Now let us turn to something even more surprising related to when you eat your meals. Number 6. The window of opportunity you're missing. Japanese centenarian doctors follow an eating schedule that looks almost too simple to matter, yet research shows it is one of the most powerful longevity tools ever studied. They typically eat all of their meals within a 10 to 12-hour window each day. It might not sound groundbreaking at first, but here is where it becomes fascinating. Dr. Yoshinori Nagumo, a well-known Japanese surgeon and longevity expert, found that this natural eating rhythm activates a process called autophagy. Autophagy is your body's built-in cellular cleaning system. You can think of it as a recycling service for your cells. Old, damaged components are broken down and converted into fresh, healthy parts. The Nobel Prize in Medicine was awarded in 2016 for research on autophagy, but Japanese physicians had been applying the idea in practice for generations without using that name. When you give your digestive system a 12 to 14-hour break overnight, autophagy shifts into high gear. In one study from the University of Tokyo, scientists tracked 2,000 adults over 10 years. Those who consistently followed a 12-hour fasting window had 43% lower rates of metabolic syndrome and 37% lower inflammation markers. Here is where many people misunderstand the concept. It is not about skipping meals or forcing yourself to go hungry. Japanese centenarians eat enough food. They simply keep it within a defined time frame. A typical pattern might look like this. Breakfast around 7:00 a.m., lunch at about noon, dinner around 7:00 p.m. After that, they have only water or tea until breakfast the following morning. This routine gives the body roughly 14 hours to repair, renew, and clear away cellular waste. During that time, insulin levels settle, growth hormone production goes up, and the brain produces more BDNF, a protein that protects nerve cells and supports memory. The Okinawa Centenarian study found that people who followed this pattern had 60% lower rates of dementia than those who frequently snacked late at night. The real secret to success is consistency rather than perfection. Choose an eating window that feels realistic for your lifestyle and follow it most days of the week. If you are currently eating from 6:00 a.m. until 1:00 p.m., do not suddenly jump to a strict 8-hour window. Instead, move your last meal earlier by about 30 minutes each week and let your body adjust gradually. Aim for a final meal that is satisfying but not overly heavy, including some protein, healthy fats, and complex carbohydrates. This helps prevent late-night hunger without overwhelming your digestive system. Many Japanese doctors end the day with a simple meal of fish, rice, vegetables, and miso soup. Filling but not excessive, the changes tend to appear slowly yet steadily. People often notice deeper sleep, better morning energy, and clearer thinking within just a couple of weeks of following this pattern. Now, as we talk about eating patterns, the next longevity secret focuses on a specific food combination that works almost like medicine inside your body. Before we continue, if you have been finding this video helpful so far, tap the like button so more seniors can discover it and hit subscribe. We share powerful senior health tips every day, and you will not want to miss what comes next. Number 5. The 5-color medicine method. When Dr. Setsu Yamada investigated why certain Japanese villages had cancer rates up to 70% lower than the national average, and he uncovered something striking. In these communities, people naturally ate foods from 5 different color groups every single day. It was not a modern health trend, but a traditional pattern passed down through families, and it had nothing to do with simply making the plate look attractive. Each color group represents distinct phytonutrients that work together in powerful ways scientists are only beginning to fully map out. Red foods are rich in lycopene and anthocyanins, compounds that protect the heart and calm inflammation. Think tomatoes, red bell peppers, and strawberries. A Harvard study of 4,700 men found that those who ate red foods daily had a 39% lower risk of stroke. Orange and yellow foods supply beta-carotene and flavonoids, which strengthen the immune system and support eye health. Examples include carrots, sweet potatoes, squash, and oranges. Research from Johns Hopkins showed that people with adequate beta-carotene intake had a 56% lower risk of cognitive decline. Green foods bring chlorophyll and folate to the table, supporting detoxification and DNA repair. Spinach, broccoli, green tea, and seaweed are classic examples. A Japanese study of 4,000 adults reported that those who ate green vegetables every day had 45% lower rates of stomach cancer. White foods such as garlic, onions, and mushrooms provide allicin and beta-glucans, which enhance immune function and exhibit strong anti-cancer properties. Work from the IG Cancer Center Research Institute found that people who ate white vegetables daily had a 34% reduction in cancer mortality. Purple and blue foods deliver anthocyanins and resveratrol, which protect the brain and slow aging at the cellular level. Eggplant, purple cabbage, and blueberries are prime sources. UCLA researchers discovered that anthocyanins can reduce brain aging by up to 2.5 years. Here is what makes this 5-color approach so powerful. When you eat all 5 color groups together, their nutrients interact in synergistic ways. Vitamin C from red peppers helps you absorb iron from dark green leafy vegetables. Healthy fats from avocados improve absorption of carotenoids from orange foods. Inside your body, it functions like a well-conducted symphony. Japanese centenarians are not obsessively counting colors on their plate. They simply build variety into each meal. A typical lunch might include white rice, a green seaweed salad, orange miso soup with carrots, purple, pickled vegetables, and red tomatoes. Simple, colorful, effective. To get the most from this method, aim to include at least one food from each color group every day. Fresh produce is ideal, but frozen is also very useful. The real key is diversity and consistency rather than rigid perfection. Start by adding just one new color to meals you already enjoy. Within days, many people notice a shift in energy and vitality. Next, we will look at a longevity secret that may completely change how you think about portion sizes. Number 4, the 80% rule that adds years to Harahachi-bu. These 3 simple words may be one of the most powerful longevity principles ever discovered. Harahachi-bu means eating only until you are about 80% full, and it is followed faithfully in Okinawa, home to some of the longest-lived people on Earth. Western researchers have recently uncovered that this habit does far more than just prevent overeating. It actually sets off deep biological changes that slow aging at the cellular level. Dr. Bradley Wilcox, lead researcher of the Okinawa Centenarian Study, found that people who practice Harahachi-bu naturally eat around 1800 to 1900 calories per day, compared with the typical American intake of 2500 to 300 calories. This gentle form of calorie reduction without any malnutrition switches on longevity genes called sirtuins. These genes help regulate cellular health, inflammation, and the aging process itself. Studies from Washington University showed that people practicing mild calorie restriction had hearts that appeared 15 years younger on medical scans. Their blood pressure was lower, their cholesterol profiles were better, and their inflammation markers were nearly undetectable. The genius of this method is that you do not need to count calories or weigh your food. Following the 80% rule naturally creates an ideal calorie gap for long-term health and longevity. So, how do you actually know when you are at 80% full? Japanese doctors teach a very straightforward approach. Eat slowly and stay tuned in to how your stomach feels. When hunger is gone, but you could still take a few more bites if you wanted to, that is your signal to stop. You should feel comfortably satisfied and light, not stuffed or sluggish. It takes the brain about 20 minutes to register fullness, and most people eat so quickly that they race past 80% without noticing. Research from Kyushu University found that fast eaters were 3 times more likely to be overweight and had twice the risk of metabolic syndrome. Japanese centenarians use a few simple habits to slow down. They put their chopsticks or fork down between bites and chew each mouthful 20 to 30 times. It may sound excessive, but it is highly effective. Food is more thoroughly broken down, which improves nutrient absorption. You naturally eat at a calmer pace, savor flavors more fully, and almost automatically stop at around 80% because your brain has time to catch up with your stomach. Another helpful strategy is using smaller plates and bowls. In Okinawa, plates are typically around 9 inches in diameter compared with the standard American 12-inch plate. Research from Cornell University showed that people using smaller plates ate roughly 22% less food without feeling deprived. Over time, the benefits of harahachi bu add up dramatically. Those who consistently follow this practice have about 70% lower rates of heart disease, 50% lower rates of cancer, and live an average of 7 years longer than people who regularly overeat. Energy levels improve because the body is not constantly overloaded with heavy digestion. Mental clarity increases because blood flow is not perpetually pulled toward the stomach after large meals. To begin, simply try this with one meal tomorrow. Eat slowly. Stop when you know you could eat more, but truly do not need to then wait 20 minutes. You will likely find that you feel perfectly satisfied. In the next secret, we will look at something most people tend to avoid, but actually should welcome into their routine. Number 3, the fermentation factor. In traditional Japanese eating patterns, every single meal includes some form of fermented food, and there is a surprising reason why. Dr. Satoshi Sasaki from Tokyo University discovered that Japanese centenarians have gut microbiomes that look completely different from those of average adults. Their intestines contain far greater bacterial diversity, higher levels of helpful bacteria, and fewer inflammatory strains. The key is their daily intake of fermented foods that act almost like targeted medicine for the digestive system. Miso natto, pickled vegetables, fermented fish, these are not just flavor boosters. They are probiotic powerhouses that reshape the entire internal ecosystem. When researchers examined the gut bacteria of 1000 Japanese centenarians, they found something extraordinary. These individuals carried bacterial strains that produced short-chain fatty acids at roughly 3 times the usual rate. Those fatty acids lower inflammation, strengthen immune defenses, and offer protection against cancer. One particular strain, Lactobacillus pentosus, was present in 90% of centenarians, but appeared in only about 30% of younger adults. So, what actually happens when you eat fermented foods every day? The beneficial microbes begin to colonize your gut and start manufacturing compounds your body cannot produce on its own. Vitamin K2 to support bone health, B vitamins to fuel energy production, neurotransmitters such as GABA to help regulate mood and sleep, antimicrobial substances that keep harmful bacteria in check. A 20-year study from the National Cancer Center in Tokyo, which followed 90000 people, found that those who ate fermented soy products daily had a 27% lower risk of stroke and an 18% lower risk of heart disease. Women who regularly consumed natto had 50% lower rates of osteoporosis. Here is the truly astonishing part. The bacteria from fermented foods send signals to your brain through the vagus nerve. This gut-brain communication pathway influences everything from emotional balance to cognitive performance. Japanese researchers observed that people who ate fermented foods every day had 40% lower rates of depression and anxiety. Variety and consistency are crucial. Different fermented foods bring in different microbial strains. Miso introduces aspergillosis, or natto supplies Bacillus subtilis, and pickled vegetables deliver Lactobacillus pleurum. Each strain offers distinct benefits, and together they work more effectively than any single one alone. If you are not used to fermented foods, begin with small amounts. Stir a tablespoon of miso into hot water for a quick probiotic-rich soup. Add a small side of pickled vegetables at lunch. Take a forkful of sauerkraut with dinner. Your gut needs time to adapt to the new bacteria, so gradually increase your intake over several weeks. Quality is essential. Choose unpasteurized, naturally fermented products whenever possible. Pasteurization destroys the very beneficial bacteria you are trying to get. Many supermarket pickles are simply vegetables in vinegar, not truly fermented foods, so read labels closely or consider making your own, which is easier than most people think. Within a few weeks of adding fermented foods to the daily menu, many people notice better digestion, clearer skin, improved mood, and more stable energy levels. Your gut microbiome functions like a garden. If you feed it properly, it will repay you with health benefits for the rest of your life. Now we move to a longevity secret, even more powerful one that most people unknowingly get wrong every single day. Number 2, the sequence solution. Japanese longevity doctors have uncovered a strategy so simple yet so powerful that it can cut blood sugar spikes by up to 42% and potentially add years to your life. The surprising part is that it is not focused on what you eat, but on the order in which you eat your food. Dr. Tashima's Takanaga at Osaka Prefecture University led groundbreaking research showing that eating in a specific sequence dramatically changes how the body processes nutrients and controls blood sugar. The impact is not small. The benefits are comparable to what many diabetes medications aim to achieve. The method itself is straightforward. Vegetables first, protein second, carbohydrates last. That is the entire sequence, but the science behind it is remarkable. Starting a meal with vegetables means that the fiber in those vegetables forms a kind of mesh in the small intestine. This fibrous layer slows the absorption of sugars and fats that follow. As a result, blood sugar rises gently instead of spiking sharply, and the insulin response stays steady rather than surging out of control. In a study of 2,500 Japanese adults with pre-diabetes, those who followed this eating order reversed their condition in 68% of cases without any other diet changes. Protein comes next in the sequence because it stimulates the release of GLP-1, a hormone that slows how quickly the stomach empties and improves insulin sensitivity. By the time you reach the carbohydrate portion of the meal, your body is already prepared to handle it efficiently. The rice or bread that might normally cause a rapid blood sugar spike is absorbed in a slower, more controlled way. Research from Weill Cornell Medical College confirmed these effects in Western participants. People who followed the vegetable protein carbohydrate order had 54% lower glucose spikes and 40% lower insulin spikes compared with those who ate the same foods in a random pattern. This approach also leads to eating less overall without conscious restriction. The fiber from vegetables and the satiating power of protein send fullness signals to the brain before you even reach the carbohydrates. Japanese centenarians typically end up eating about half the amount of rice that younger people do, not because they are strictly limiting it, but because they feel comfortably full when they get to it. Over the long term, this has profound effects. Keeping blood sugar stable reduces glycation, the process in which sugar molecules damage proteins throughout the body. Glycation is one of the major drivers of aging. People who maintain steady blood sugar levels age more slowly at the cellular level, think more clearly, and tend to live longer. Putting this into practice is very simple at your next meal. Eat all of your vegetables first. Finish them completely, then move on to your protein. Save your carbohydrates for last. Avoid mixing everything together. Keep the components separated and eat them in sequence. It may feel unusual at first, but it quickly becomes second nature. When dining out, finish your salad before touching the rest of your plate. At home, serve vegetables as a starter. Traditional Japanese meals already follow this pattern, with small vegetable side dishes called kobachi served before the main course. The changes often appear quickly. Many people notice fewer energy crashes, reduced cravings, and sharper focus within just 3 days of using this sequence. Over time, it becomes an effortless habit, and your body rewards you with more stable energy and better health markers overall. Now we arrive at the moment you have been waiting for, the number 1 secret that truly changes everything. Number 1, the morning ritual that extends life by decades. This is the top longevity habit that Japanese doctors say can add as much as 20 extra years to a person's life. It is not a pill, it is not a special superfood, It is a very specific morning ritual that 96% of Japanese centenarians follow every single day. The practice is simple. Immediately after waking, before eating or drinking anything else, they drink a precise amount of warm water. Yet this routine goes far beyond basic hydration. Dr. Hiroshi Yamashita at Nagoya University found that this one habit sets off a chain reaction of biological processes that effectively cleanse and reset the entire body. Here is what is happening behind the scenes. While you sleep, your body shifts into repair mode. Toxins are processed, damaged cells are renewed, and metabolic waste builds up. Drinking 640 milliliters of warm water first thing in the morning helps flush this waste out through the kidneys and intestines. That is only the first effect. Taking in that volume of water on an empty stomach activates the gastrocolic reflex, which stimulates bowel movements and prevents toxins from being reabsorbed. It jumpstarts metabolism by up to 24% for the next 90 minutes. It also increases blood flow to the brain, sharpening alertness and mental clarity more effectively than coffee for many people. The temperature is critically important. Warm water at or slightly above body temperature is absorbed more quickly than cold water. It avoids shocking your system and instead gently wakes up the organs, getting circulation and digestion moving smoothly. Japanese researchers found that people who drink warm water each morning have 73% fewer kidney stones, 61% fewer urinary tract infections, and 48% lower rates of constipation. In the long term, Nagoya University tracked 5,000 adults for 20 years. Those who consistently practiced this morning water ritual had 37% lower all-cause mortality. They experienced fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, and fewer cancer diagnoses. They showed slower biological aging and preserved cognitive function for longer. The quantity matters a great deal. Anything under 500 milliliters does not fully trigger the desired effects. More than 800 milliliters can be too much for some people at once. The ideal amount is 640 milliliters, roughly 2.5 cups consumed within 5 minutes of waking. The recommended protocol is straightforward. Keep warm water ready in a thermos by your bed or heat it as soon as you get up. The water should be warm enough to drink quickly, but not so hot that it must be sipped slowly. Drink the full amount within a few minutes rather than stretching it over an hour, then wait 45 minutes before eating breakfast. This window allows the water to do its work without interference from food. Some people worry they will feel bloated or need to run to the bathroom constantly. That usually happens only during the first few days while the body adapts. If necessary, begin with about 400 milliliters and gradually increase to 640 milliliters over a week. Bladder capacity improves and urination frequency quickly settles into a new normal. The changes many people experience are striking. Skin clears within about a week. Energy levels rise noticeably. Digestion becomes regular and effortless. Mental fog lifts. Long-standing health complaints often improve or fade. In the Nagoya University research, one 70-year-old woman with chronic arthritis reported a 90% reduction in joint pain after 3 months on this routine. Another participant reversed pre-diabetes without altering anything else in his lifestyle. For Japanese doctors who live past 100, this ritual is not optional. They consider it as fundamental as breathing. They have been practicing it for so many years that it happens automatically, and now their greatest longevity secret is in your hands. Altogether, these 7 secrets work in harmony rather than isolation. The morning warm water ritual gets your system ready for the day. The eating sequence helps your body absorb nutrients in the most efficient way. Fermented foods feed and balance your microbiome. The 80% rule keeps your system from being overloaded. The 5-color method supplies a full spectrum of protective nutrients. The daily eating window gives your cells time to repair and regenerate. Warm and room temperature foods support smooth, comfortable digestion. Combined, they form a way of life that not only adds years to your lifespan, but also adds vitality, clarity, and strength to those years. The Japanese centenarian doctors who are still seeing patients in their 90 seconds are not gifted with some kind of supernatural ability. They have simply embraced principles that we are only now starting to understand. Small, steady daily habits compound into extraordinary longevity. You do not need costly supplements or extreme restrictive diets. What you truly need are these simple, proven practices that cooperate with your body's natural design instead of working against it. Begin with just one of these secrets tomorrow. Add a second one next week. Within a few months, you will start to see why these doctors often say that how you age is largely a choice. Your body is fully capable of staying strong and vibrant well past 100 when it is given the right environment. Now you know exactly how to create that environment. Now we would love to hear from you. Which of these 7 secrets surprised you the most, and which one are you planning to try first thing tomorrow morning? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We truly enjoy reading them. Thank you for watching.